What the fuck?
Welcome to Tastes Like Tea, a podcast in which I talk about myself. My name is Theo. Don't call me Ted. Today is a day. To you, it's actually the same day. It's 2 days later for my recording, but I'm releasing this on the same day as my previous episode. As a constant listener, you're aware of that, and I appreciate you listening to both episodes back to back. It's a thing that you can do. If for some reason you didn't listen to the podcast in order, which I'm finding out people do. People listen to podcasts like out of order and selectively, and that doesn't really compute. I've been trying to catch up on this one podcast. It's been going on for like 9 years, and it's I can't listen to the newest episode. They keep posting them, but I can't do it. So I am, in the midst of 2022 for that podcast, and I'm working my way up. And I assume other people do that here. So, you're already aware that the episode from prior is, this is a continuation of that on the same day. Why am I doing it like this? Well, because I like to have a backlog, and the more episodes I record in 1 week, the less I have to worry about time constraints, because then I can have them scheduled, which is fantastic. I love having scheduled posts. It probably would have made YouTube a lot more useful. I probably would have cut up my videos at least a little bit. You can do it on YouTube, but it's just not as intuitive. This is literally like part of the upload process is, when do you want it to be posted? So it would be cool to get an extra day, an extra half a week out of it, to just kind of like reduce time restraints, instead of, in case I hypothetically have to not record one day or miss out on something or whatever. But I'm not doing that because generally with what I watched, which I keep saying is going to be both not a thing I want to do, but also a thing I keep doing because I want to do it, but then I also haven't been doing it, at least not in the same way. It keeps changing. I don't really know what's actually happening with it, but generally speaking, what I watched, I average about 4 films per session, and it takes about 90 minutes, and that 90 minutes is usually me crunching because I'll get, stuck on something early on in the list and completely glaze over things in the later part of the list. With these, I did very specific double features, and unlike the mistake I made on the Terminator double feature episode, where you just got a random third film that has nothing to do with Terminator, I just wanted to get another film in. I was trying to get a fourth one in, to talk about 2026's Bride, because I did end up watching that, and spoiler alert, it's good. Maggie Gyllenhaal knows how to make a fucking movie, and she knows how to write a loud woman, and I love it. There's your extra film, I guess. So this is now officially a 3-film episode. So my last episode was a double feature, and I refused to split my next double feature right after that. And I also didn't find it significant enough to make it its own separate release day. So this episode and the previous episode, the Harmony Korine double feature, are, two halves of the same episode. So what am I going to be doing today? I'm going to be doing another double feature. Thank you for asking. I've been, you've been saying it this entire time. I hear it. I wish I didn't do this right after work because I would love to drink while doing this. And even though I'm sitting in the backseat of a car and technically nowhere near operating a vehicle, I don't think it's smart to just crack a beer open in the parking lot of my job. Probably not the best thing to do. Anythingbutted@gmail.com if you want to reach out to me. I have an email. It's anythingbutted@gmail.com. And you can email me through it with your email. Yeah, I think it's funny, but I'm also don't have the energy to do it. But yeah, whatever that word is I just said. I forgot what I was talking about. I was just speaking to my doctor yesterday, and I was asking him about this term I heard on the internet called performative masculinity, and how I kind of like, the examples given in that internet post are like, shit, is that what I do? Is that why people don't talk to me on the internet? Because I'm constantly just like showing off in some way, shape, or form. And then I described the situations where I felt like that was applicable. He's like, nah, man, that's just your ADHD. You get excited when you see a Star Wars theatrical cut on Blu-ray, and you jump to action to tell as many people as possible because you're excited and you want to share it. And that made me feel good. Not because I didn't know that already, because that's exactly how I describe it. But, that little inkling after seeing the term. Anyway, I'm doing a double feature today. A very cool double feature, in my opinion. A double feature that it's going to be good. That's a yawn. It's going to be good. If it's going to be a good episode of me talking about it, I have no clue. But, it's a thing. So, I got the email thing out. I haven't said it for a few episodes, but thank you to my brother, Vinny. He supplied me with the introduction song, and I have not been consistently tagging him in my descriptions. If you find any of the posts where I did tag him, you can go to his page and tell him that I did not shout him out consistently. Why not? Why don't you do that? The fuck? So, the double feature I'm going to be talking about today is a Wes Craven double feature. And this is a very exciting one for me because I've been kind of sitting on this for a while. Neither of these films are new to me. These are not first-time watches. These are both rewatches of varying degrees. When I say varying degrees, I mean more or less like one I've seen a bunch of times and one I've only seen once before. So I'm also probably nowhere near as familiar as I am with other Wes Craven films, but I am generally a Wes Craven fan. I feel like as a horror person, it's almost like I don't think I've met anybody who can definitively say they're not a Wes Craven fan. He quite literally redefines horror once a decade for his entire career, and then he stopped. Then he died. Obviously Scream is the big one and is definitely a personal favorite, but Wes Craven has a lot of stuff going on. If you don't like one of his things, I'm assuming you either like them all at least a little bit or you don't like them at all, because they're all kind of similarly done. But something about that Wes Craven energy is just he existed and made a really good impact on the world. He obviously made Scream. He made People Under the Stairs. He made Last House on the Left. And he made porn. Yes, he did in fact make porn. And that's how I'm kicking off this episode. I am going to talk about Wes Craven's 1975 pornography film titled A Fireworks Woman. A Fireworks Woman is it's not what you expect when you think Wes Craven. It has some Wes Craven things in it. Don't get me wrong. But it's not what you think of. From my little bit of like history with like the Blu-ray, I learned a little bit of history on the Blu-ray because it had like a video essay and then an interview with a guy who knew Wes Craven. But by the time this Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray came out, Wes Craven was long dead. So unless they pulled archival footage, which probably wouldn't be very useful for special features on a Blu-ray, for a boutique company at least, because I know like a lot of different places. Like I have the English. That doesn't even make any sense. I was about to say I have the Blu-ray and the DVD of House of Wax, and they both have the same exact features on them. In fact, I'm pretty sure the Blu-ray of House of Wax isn't even a 1080p transfer. I'm pretty sure it says 720 on it. But what am I talking about? Wes Craven making porn. You have to start somewhere, right? Everybody has to start somewhere, and that's not where Wes Craven started. Wes Craven's first film was Last House on the Left, and it wasn't immensely popular, it seems, and it still kind of isn't. It's more impactful and significant than it is popular. I don't know anybody who looks at Last House on the Left and like says it's their favorite rape revenge film. Actually, is it even rape revenge? Is it just rape? Because that's the thing. So it was a very shocking film. Even for now, it's still pretty fucked. And I'm trying to avoid saying the thing that everybody who talks about Wes Craven says, but I'm going to say it anyway, because even the most renowned, like the Wes Craven historian, even starts out his video essay by saying it. So clearly it's just something that it's significant. It's like it's a significant bit of information. It's just everybody who's ever spoken about the man kind of kicks it off, including himself in his Mick Garris interview. I'm pretty sure that interview starts with him talking about it. What is that it, you might be asking? Well, let me get to it. Stop rushing me. I'm playing with a wire right now, and it's distracting, so you're going to have to just sit on it for a minute. What was I talking about? Oh, see, this is why I can't sit on something for a minute, because I don't even remember what I was talking about. Wes Craven made porn. Oh, I'm going to talk about the thing that everyone talks about. He wasn't allowed to watch movies when he was younger. And it's just a really bizarre place to start. There's not many filmmakers that I hear interviews where they're like, yeah, my dad refused to let me watch movies. So, and then I got older and someone asked me to write a movie and I kind of just did it. It's usually, yeah, my dad showed me movies when I was young and I never stopped watching them. Like, his upbringing was very particular, and I think it brings a lot of contrast into maybe not what I talk about today, but just his films in general. I mean, I shouldn't say I think. I know for a fact that it all kind of reflects back on the fact that he was raised in a mega religious household that didn't really watch any fictional content or cartoons or anything really. And then Vietnam happened, and for some reason that was like the main thing that his family watched, which I don't want to dig in too much because I don't fully get that. They got a TV and they're like, no entertainment. And then the war started and they're like, yeah, let's watch this. Like, I just don't get it. I guess it's kind of like the post 9/11, like CNN boom, or at least that's how I see it. Because once 9/11 happened, my dad didn't stop watching CNN. And, there's probably something there. Larry King or whatever. So A Fireworks Woman is not Wes Craven's first film, like many 70s horror directors start out. Starting out in porn is not uncommon. It's low requirements and low overhead or whatever. I don't know what the word overhead means, but I'm pretty sure it counts. So he makes Last House on the Left. And according to the video essay and that interview guy, he basically got like blacklisted. Not literally, but you get asked to make a movie about like the worst things you could imagine, and this repressed person just unloads the worst shit possible into a film, and people didn't like it that much. People didn't want to work with him, and the people who did want to work with him just happened to also mostly be in the porn business, so he stayed in porn. And there's actually a porno that he edited, Wes Craven edited, that I really want to check out. Let me see if I can pull it up in a few seconds. Editor, he edited It Happened in Hollywood, directed by Peter Locke, which is the producer that kept hiring Wes Craven. This is all information I learned on the Fireworks Woman Blu-ray. So he makes Last House on the Left, and people didn't like it, and the only job he could make was porn. And I'm not going to go any more into like his history, because the thing about this video essay is that it's 90% speculative. He's only the guy who's done it, the Wes Craven historian, Jonathan Jonathan Madry. It's all speculation. It's him going like, well, we found some information, and what we did is we put together what we think is the original cut. Or like, they say that they found bits and pieces of the original script, and they're like, we kind of reordered it in a way that is more attuned to the original script, to kind of give you a base idea of what might have been the original film prior to it being adapted into the film, the final product. So yeah, that's kind of what I can really say that's like definitive out of that stuff. But it all leads to him making porn and then essentially covering it up. He apparently wasn't afraid to admit that he worked in porn, but he supposedly never admitted what film he's worked on. And I don't know how. Well, I shouldn't say I don't know how. He's in the film. It's not like you can't figure it out if you found it. But post his death, this guy, I guess it's this guy. The way he worded his essay, it kind of sounded like he's the one that figured out that Wes Craven made the porn. Which is just interesting. Because, it's officially plastered now as a Wes Craven film. It's sold as a Wes Craven film. It's just under a pseudonym of, what is it, like Don Snake or something like that. And, yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. So I'm just assuming, considering the time, right? And I probably already kind of said it, but 1973 is when Last House on the Left came out. 1977 is when The Hills Have Eyes comes out. That's a 4-year gap. The dude needed money. He was already working on porn, and he said, hey, I got a script. And they made it. I don't know what order it was, but I'm assuming it all came from money. I mean, as a person who is admittedly keep trying to find people who are interested in making a weird horror porn, I don't know anybody who has been like, yeah, I'm just out to make porn. Like, that's what I want to do. Like, no, so I'm assuming he is also a person that did not want to do it. He did it out of necessity, and that necessity was money. So what is the Fireworks Woman? It's incest porn, really. It's not technically. It is. It's completely 100% thematically and it's incest porn. It's from the perspective of a woman named Angela, and it's just a lot of her narration of her saying like, hey, my parents died horribly when I was younger, and the only person there to comfort me was my brother, and no one loves me more than my brother now, and I can't feel love except purely from my brother. So we fucked once or twice, and now that's all I want to do. And that's kind of the goal of the film, is this woman trying to reconvince her brother to have sex with her. It's really fucking weird when you say it out loud like that, but that's really the main plot. That's not necessarily it's what happens, right? But that's not necessarily the events of the film. So the brother, what the fuck is his name? Peter, played by Eric Edwards, which I should probably... Oh, I have watched another porn with him in. The Memories of Within Miss Aggie, he's in that? Good shit. That is good. That is good porn right there. The Memories Within Miss Aggie. If you want, like... Hitchcock has nothing on this porno. Just saying. Anyway, the Fireworks Woman. It starts with an opening monologue of this woman describing her love for her brother, and then, it turns out the brother is a priest. He got away from her and became a priest. So the big back and forth is, brother, why won't you fuck me? And he's like, well, I am a priest. I am not allowed to do sex anymore. And that's really the main bit. And the whole thing is her just trying to come up with ways to get her brother to fuck her. She also has like magical powers that aren't necessarily like expanded on, but they're kind of loosely explained as a something about the fireworks being like a visual representation of what she can do to people, like entrance them in like an explosive beauty or something. I don't really know exactly what it is, but most of the film is people meeting Angela and her just kind of unceremoniously having sex with them in some way, voluntarily or not. And she kind of just goes through the motion. She kind of, okay. I don't want to like go step by step through the film, but you kind of need to. So like right after her first time of going like Peter, please leave the church so we can have sex, and he's like no, and then she meets somebody at the church, a couple who takes her in as like a housemaid and then does like porn stuff to her where they like expose her to BDSM kind of things, and like really it's like a sexy retake on Last House on the Left. A lot of the stuff in this film is rehashed from Last House on the Left, but recontextualized from being horrific and uncomfortable to being erotic and beautiful. So, like, other than the fact that she's having imaginary sex with her brother, she's like living in her memories, and like they're kind of just like doing random sex acts in a white void. That's kind of like what her imagination is doing. But then in between that is her living her life trying to figure out how to get her brother to fuck her again. She ends up meeting someone at the church, a couple. They make her into like a BDSM sex slave maid woman. It doesn't seem to stick. She kind of keeps them in the back pocket though. Like she kind of, like all the people she meets are relevant. Oh yeah, Wes Craven also plays like a weird child abductor person that's kind of like a visual representation of sexual depravity, or maybe it's sexual freedom, because I mean, you know, be it that this movie is about a woman trying to bang her brother, it's ultimately a film about a woman making her dreams come true. Quite literally making her dreams come true. So that couple, notably, I mean, other than the fact that they're like whipping her and like doing like three-way sex act stuff that she very much as a character never experienced, they make her piss herself, but not like in her pants. Like they make her squat down and like piss onto the woman's hand. It's a really particular scene that exists. And then from there, she takes note of all these things, by the way. Like she's kind of retaining information from these acts. And then she goes to see, I think she goes to a doctor. I can't remember why. I really can't remember why, but she goes to like a doctor or somebody near like a dock. like a fishing dock. And when she walks past these two guys, that's when you kind of get like the visual representation that just her presence hypnotizes people in some way. And, she walks away, she ignores them, she's not trying to get fucked by some weird fisherman dudes. So she goes to whatever appointment, maybe it's her therapist, and maybe that is it. Because she does kind of bounce off her desires on somebody. So maybe it's a therapist, but either way, she goes to see somebody, and then on her way out, those same two fishermen attack her. And it's a very, it's almost iconic, this sex scene, because it's just really, it's both a sign of really, not a sign, it's a really great example of, and I'm really sorry for saying this, a well-acted rape scene. That's so horrible to say, but so it's a rape scene, right? She gets raped by these well, one of the fishermen is like, oh my God, I gotta go get her. And this other guy's like, you're being dumb. She's just a rando. She's not gonna fuck you. And then he also gets entranced. The first guy runs up and tries to rape her. And the second fisherman knocks the first fisherman out with a giant fish. I want to say a frozen fish too, because then that second fisherman who knocked out the first fisherman with a giant fish pushes Angela down onto a pile of ice and proceeds to rape her. And God, what did I say? Well-acted rape? So, I mean, here's the thing, right? When I'm watching porn as like entertainment, the less erotic, the better. Because I'm not there to get a boner, I'm there to find an interesting film made by an interesting guy. And, the 70s is full of, like that's where the low budget movies came from initially, because at least if the movie was bad, you still have sex in it and someone's going to pay for that. And that was the reason that they were made. But, I think because they're porn, they're kind of depleted in quality, or at least they're considered lower quality. But, I watched The Fireworks Woman because I wanted to watch a fireworks woman. It's not because I wanted to jerk off. It's not because I wanted to feel aroused or whatever. Like, I wanted to watch a Wes Craven film that just happened to have full-on penetration in it. I had some meatloaf while I watched this too, by the way. I reheated some meatloaf with some fries. Ooh, so good. I don't know what is up with movie and TV characters complaining about their wives' meatloafs. But suck it the fuck up, dude. Put some ketchup on that shit and just eat the fucking meatloaf, because that shit is good. Alright? Unless they're doing crazy shit. Like, I mean, people put raisins in cold mayonnaise salads. So, like, there's probably just some weird ass meatloafs out there. But hey, pro tip. You can say, hey, I didn't like this meatloaf. Can you maybe not put fucking olives or whatever in it? I don't know. Like, you can communicate and say, hey, I like meatloaf if it's done a little differently. And then you don't have to, spend 50 years resenting your wife's meatloaf, or whatever that joke is from Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield and Martin Sheen and Sally Fields. God, that was such a good Spider-Man, guys. I can't believe just because Jamie Foxx had to close his gap tooth and the Green Goblin had to get alopecia, you just didn't let him get that third movie entry. He could have fought the Sinister Six. And now it's going to take 10 years to fight the Sinister Six, because they're going to have to make an individual movie for every single character before they introduce it to Spider-Man. And then they need to make a whole new trilogy just to lead up to that fight. So, Marvel movies ended at Endgame, and everything after is basically DLC, low effort DLC. I'm not going to get into it. I'm talking about porn here, all right? Important stuff. So she gets raped on a pile of ice, and what was I saying? Something about, yeah, I watch porn, and that kind of shoots myself in the foot by saying that. I watch porn as entertainment and art. And then I proceed to tell you why this rape scene is good. It's not because it's a rape. It's not because Wes Craven is shooting it and he loves a rape. Because he does. And although he claims that he regrets making The Last House on the Left as extreme as he did, he never seems to get away from the actual things that make The Last House on the Left extreme. He kind of just refines it a little bit to be more digestible. But he never gets away from the stuff that makes his films... I guess he stopped pissing people. He stopped getting people to piss themselves. But what I'm getting at is... And I'm just going to have to say it with just assuming that you understand that I'm not trying to say I like it this way, or that like I intentionally watch something like that. But, if a rape happens in a porn, and actually I can even reference other porns that I've reviewed in the past on Letterboxd, that rape scenes in porn generally end up being not rape scenes by the end, because the rape victim ends up just doing sex. They just become a porn star at that point, and it goes from like a weird situation where it kind of comes off as like a force, but then it just turns into like a laughy, lovey-dovey, like, oh, we're having sex either way. It's the same thing. But it's not. Because in The Fireworks Woman, Angela, sorry, I'm unlocking my phone. It locked itself. Angela acts in pain and in fear the entire rape. And it's still, again, hoping you can understand my perspective on this, and that it's not an actual like direct enjoyment, but like she's acting mortified at being raped, but it's also, the film is shot erotically. So you have an actual split vision of this, not literally, but like it's shot really sexily, right? Like doing all the porn stuff. It's really good porn. Like if you wanted to jerk off to this, you totally could. Not this specific scene if you don't want to watch a woman get raped, but what I mean is like it's actually shot well. It's well lit. It's clean footage. Pubes are not too outrageous, but they're not gone. You know, like it's very 70s, but in like a clean, groomed way. So, like, even though this is a horror, I mean, it's not even a horror film. It's horror just because it's Wes Craven making porn and it has a rape scene in it. But it's suspenseful. It's a stressful film to watch sometimes. And, the rape scene is well done. The only person I can't really comment on is the rapist himself because I don't know who the fuck that is. I can actually just look right here. The Mad Fisherman is named Lefty Cooper. He was in one other film, Sexteen. She was old enough to know better, but too young to care. Wow. Alright, a couple try to cheat the angel of death by telling him erotic stories. What the fuck? Okay, we're not going to get into that. Lefty Cooper. 50% of his filmography I've watched. So she gets raped. I love how this is the thing I'm focusing on, but it's not even like a main part of the film. It's more or less filler. It's kind of just like, how do we get this film to stay porn, but we don't have any other things to add? Have her raped a little bit. So let me get past this, because I've been talking about this film for 40 fucking minutes. Jesus Christ. The whole point of these being double feature episodes is that I wasn't supposed to talk about them for an extended period of time. What the fuck is that? There's a thing I found under the seat. Holy fuck, there's storage under the seat? Hold on. I'm not gonna mess with that. It looks like a way to remove the back seats. Crazy. I thought there was storage under. There totally might be though. It feels. Maybe not. So, alright, back to the plot. She got raped good. She's a good rape victim. The rape scene was shot well. Sorry to be this guy. I'm talking about porn here. I'm sitting in a car alone talking about porn. So, it's your fault. You know, you could have stopped listening 38 minutes ago and I wouldn't have minded. Because I would have gotten my download number anyway. So the actual thing to get her brother, to trick her brother into coming to her home to have sex with her, how does she do it? Simple, really. She finds out that most of the people that her brother what is it, sermons as a priest? What do you do as a priest? I don't know. The people who go to the church that he is a part of are all sex deviants. And including that couple who sex slave mated Angela in the beginning, that made her piss on herself. They were part of that group, so like that was her end of saying like, hey, I'm having a sex party, and she just hosts an orgy, and my favorite part about the orgy is how unsure I am about how long it goes on, because it almost makes me believe that the way this scene is shot, this orgy happens for at least 24 hours. Because the whole thing is, she's like, oh, it's a lot of narration by her. She's like, oh, I'm going to host an orgy, and eventually he'll come. He'll find out, and he will come. Because who wouldn't want to? Or something like that. And then Wes Craven, as a character in the film, calls up the brother and says, hey, there's some people over here. You're going to want to come check it out. And then he shows up, sees that her sister is part of this orgy. She's being like... That's the other thing that kind of clicks with me on this second rewatch, is that her magical powers to get people horny is what would be able to maintain this long-term orgy. People can come and go as they please, but people will never not be having sex as long as she wants it to be that way. That's kind of a thing I took out of it. I don't know if that's true. I don't even know if the mystical horniness is a thing, or if people in this movie are just simply infatuated with this random white woman. So her brother walks in, and they see her being all center of attention. They like lift her up. She's like crowd surfing with a bunch of naked dudes. Jamie Gillis is there, big fan. Love Jamie Gillis, great actor, great hair. Love that guy. According to the behind the scenes, all the actors in the orgy are just friends of Jamie Gillis. Like, he was the only person they officially hired for the orgy scene, and everybody else, they're like, hey, Jamie, you know any guys? Any guys and girls that just want to fuck for a little while? And he's like, yeah, and he called him up. Yeah, so that's how the film ends. It's really an uneventful film if you're trying to talk about it without it being porn, but it's yeah, a woman tricks her brother to come over to her house to have sex with her. And it's 70 something minutes. It's not long. It's 80 minutes long. It's basically a feature length, but it's not tiring in any way. I found so now that I've gotten through the plot, and I've kind of, I've already said it a little bit, but this is a good-ass porno. I'm sorry to say it. I really, a year and a half ago, I would have been embarrassed to say it, and I probably would have said it a little jokingly because I just wouldn't have been able to handle the idea. But it's good porn. Like, it's not just erotic. It's not just well shot. It's good. It's a good plot. It's well written. Literally it's a Wes Craven film that just has penetration in it, and it's probably his least serious film. Maybe not. That's probably not true. I've only seen about 30 to 40% of his filmography, so there's a good... Yeah, that's right. I watched The Fireworks Woman before I watched... I've seen 42% of his films. I've watched The Fireworks Woman before I watched Swamp Thing, or Shocker, or Night Visions, or Red Eye. Just as a little example. Still blows me away that he directed Vampire in Brooklyn. So, what do I pair with a 1975 porno about a sister trying to trick her priest brother into leaving the church to have sex with her at an orgy at her house? How do you make a double feature out of that? Well, as I mentioned at the beginning, this is a Wes Craven double feature. And what better film to watch after The Fireworks Woman than the film that was released right after The Fireworks Woman, which would be The Hills Have Eyes, 1977's The Hills Have Eyes. This is a film that I got a lot of insight on just from a little bit of learning about Wes Craven, just a little bit of like personal information I learned from the extra features on the Fireworks Woman Blu-ray. Kind of built context for The Hills Have Eyes, and I think that was really cool because I didn't intend it that way. The only reason I did it with The Hills Have Eyes is because I recently read the screenplay and I really wanted to watch it. I wanted to see the differences. I wanted to just rewatch the film in general and get a re-feel for it. And what am I saying? I just figured, why not watch the film right after? Like, I was gonna be like, hey, it's the first few. I was considering doing a triple feature and running through Last House on the Left, so I can be like, yeah, this is the first 3 films in release order, and I could have kicked off a release order rewatch or whatever, because like how I'm doing Michael Bay, which you don't even know about, I don't think, because I haven't talked about a Michael Bay film on this podcast yet. Have I? If I have, not for long. But, yeah, so I watched The Hills Have Eyes, the first one, 1977, and it's very much a Wes Craven film. Not because of the rape, not because of the brutal violence, but because of what the film is. The Hills Have Eyes is the first film that Wes Craven made on the West Coast. So he was initially on the East Coast, and he moved to California or something around there. I don't know the exact details. So this film is a family going from like middle America driving to California, and it's their experience in a landscape they're unfamiliar with. An alien landscape is actually a very particular term I use, and I think it's exactly what's intended. Because not only is this a film where Wes Craven's first time out on the West Coast is being stalked by people in an unfamiliar, hard to navigate environment, that's Wes Craven's first-hand experience of moving to, the West Coast. So like, there's that. There's the military stuff, which isn't really heavily pushed on, but after reading the screenplay, it's actually a lot more present than it seems. Like, if you watch it being told, like, yeah, the military is involved, you kind of notice that, like, the opening frame or something like that, one of the opening shots is fighter jets flying over the desert, and kind of just showing you that there's a presence of the military within range of where you are. But what you don't notice, or maybe what they just don't talk about explicitly, but like it's easily noticeable if you're looking for it. For one, they all have walkie-talkies, a very specific technology that isn't uncommon, presumably in 1977, but they're all also plastered with stamps of U.S. military equipment. So you're kind of, implied that these people are either involved with the military, or they are ex-military, or they kill the military and took their shit. And remember how I mentioned he only watched Vietnam War footage for basically like his childhood, like the TV that existed to show you Vietnam. So this man was very aware of one of the least moral, I shouldn't say the least moral, but one of the wars that I don't support Vietnam is what I'm getting at. It was dumb that we were involved, and it's dumb that it lasted, is that 15 years? Like, what? How do you keep throwing, like, paths of glory really What year did that come out? Was that in the middle of Vietnam? I think it was, yeah, it was right when Vietnam started. 1957, I think, is when Paths of Glory came out. And that film is quite literally like, when is it not worth, like, what is the line between having a bunch of people sacrifice themselves to gain victory versus just throwing people into forced death because that's protocol? It's badly worded, but that's what Paths of Glory is about. It's just kind of like humans realizing that their lives are worth more than the efforts that they're putting in, and choosing to disobey military orders because the military in power finds all humans expendable, and therefore it doesn't matter how many die as long as they're doing what they're told. And it's just a really interesting film. What am I talking about? Right, so the military, that was kind of where I was getting at. But it is that Wes Craven is aware of the military and what they do to people and what the results of people, like, I guess if we're talking about Vietnam, we're talking about Agent Orange. In the remake, it's, I think, nuclear testing, but it's the same thing. It's the U.S. military immorally ruining people's lives and then leaving them for dead in the middle of nowhere. So there's the other thing. It's a lot of Wes Craven. This film is very Wes Craven on a personal level. This was him working through his fear of being seen in a place that he's unfamiliar with. He made the Last House on the Left, got basically blacklisted professionally, and then he shows up in LA to make movies. People are probably looking at him a little weird, and he probably feels a little pressure. Even if people aren't staring at him, he's probably convinced that people are. Because I would be. If I made something that was notorious and I went to a place where I was hyper aware of the people around me that were hyper aware of me, I would probably assume that everybody was staring, going, see, that's the guy that did the rape, the piss rape. Where am I going with this? The Hills Have Eyes. Yeah, it's a lot of Wes Craven in the film, and it's really interesting. It's a scary film too, like just these shots of these Rocky Mountains. I don't know if they're actually the Rocky Mountains. I don't think they are, but just like these formations that are so disorienting to look at, and you as a viewer know that the people are being watched because the film shows you that they're being watched. But then they show you what the people being watched see, and it's horrifying because you're just looking at nothing. It's like those it's kind of like before that whole joke about like people playing COD being aware that, like, when they see a little glint in the distance that they know a sniper is watching them, kind of like that, where you're staring at nothing and you know that something is there, but you can't find it because they don't have that little lens flare. What is The Hills Have Eyes? Is that something I haven't done yet? The Hills Have Eyes is a white family going to, they don't need to be white, but that's just what they are. I said it that way. A family going to California. A father, a son, I want to say 2 daughters, a wife, and the oldest daughter's husband, who also, they have a baby together. And they're in an RV or whatever, and they're driving cross country. They're cutting through the desert, and they crash. Very slasher, very, very Texas Chainsaw. Just kind of like they stopped at a gas station, there was like a little bit of hint of like some nefariousness going on, and then they crash, and now they're stranded in the middle of the desert, being watched by genetically they're trying to be icky. I was trying to think of like a PC way of describing people with mutilations, or mutations, but they're damaged people. They're like an incest family that like cannibalizes because of necessity. Yeah, so they crash. There's also 2 dogs, German Shepherds. One dies almost immediately. The other becomes the hero of the film. Spoiler alert. By the way, I spoil things in these podcasts, believe it or not. I don't like to be restricted by knowledge that you may or may not have. Because it's your fault if you decided to listen to this without watching it. And then caring about it. Because you shouldn't care about spoilers anyway. It doesn't really matter. There are certain things, right? Like if I said Snape kills Dumbledore, you're gonna. I mean, does that really change much? I guess it makes it less surprising when it happens, but like, if I were to tell you who the killer was in Scream, I guess that's different. Is it though? Because I mean, with Scream, it's more about slashers. Trying to think of a movie where telling the ending would ruin it. I don't know, Dark City, I guess, could be one. Any noir, I suppose, like what's that one I watched? Not Sunset Boulevard. Laura. Like maybe Laura would be ruined by like telling you the ending. I mean, I found the twist halfway through the film to be more shocking than the actual ending, but that's just me. But The Hills Have Eyes. They crash, their dog dies, they're being watched by some people. And you kind of just, it's a lot of paranoia too. I think that's important too. I think that's a very Wes Craven thing about this film too, is it's very paranoia based, because from the victim's perspective, they have nothing to worry about. I mean, other than the crashed car, there's no reason for them to think that anything bad is happening. And then things just start happening. Bad things just start happening. And, the dog dies, which is kind of like how things kick off. And the only person who really cares is the son, because he's the only one who knows that the dog died. And he's like, yeah, it looks like someone gutted it. Like, this isn't just the dog fell. Like, something fucking killed it. Violently. I want to nap. You think I could nap right now and then come back to you in a few minutes? So, needle pulling thread. Wow. That was a lot of silence for no reason. We're talking about The Hills Have Eyes, right? I almost fell asleep. So, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of setup. That's what most of the film is, actually. So, like, that's really why, it's real, because you're seeing these people slowly infiltrate themselves and get closer and closer to these people. And they're in the middle of nowhere. Like, they're on a flat surface in the middle of nowhere. And these cannibals are capable of sneaking up on them. Not just at night, but just in general. Although at night definitely helps. So they set off this really crazy plan. It's all to kidnap the baby. The main goal for the cannibals is to eat the baby, because babies are tender. Someone I follow said, very inefficient of them to eat the baby. There's barely any meat on it, but it's not about the amount of meat, it's about the quality of the meat, as Wagyu has shown the world. Or I guess veal would be the closer comparison to baby. You know, less tough muscle and just straight up tender. Sweeter, probably. Oh, that's the goal. They want to kidnap this baby and eat it. There's also one of the cannibal girls is trying to leave, but I feel like that's kind of just half-assed in a sense, because like she tries to leave in the beginning and then you like, it's just her existence in the film is useful, and I guess just her trying to leave is just a way for the audience to realize that there is something good that could come out of these people, being that person who saves everybody, essentially. Jesus Christ, what time is it? I gotta stop soon, so let me work through this. Let's talk about big moments, right? Because I mean, I'm going to keep going into circles if I just keep talking about the plot. Cannibals are hunting this family. The family's trying to survive. Not everyone survives. I think 2 people live out of the family. And a baby. Damn it, I shouldn't have said that. You should have been afraid that the baby was going to die. But guess what? Does a baby die? I don't think so. I don't think the baby dies. A lot of things die, though. So let's talk about favorite parts, right? Because the favorite parts are really the most important thing about this film, because as I said, it's mostly set up, it's mostly putting pieces in the right places and then them falling together perfectly. Twice. It happens twice because there's 2. First, the cannibals set off a crazy elaborate plan. That's not even really, maybe it's not elaborate, but it's well executed. They lure certain people into certain spots. They can, and they're doing it all without talking to them. They're somehow convincing these people to do certain things without actually even being near them. So they're like, the dad goes off in one direction, the other older guy goes in the other direction. The son is looking for the dog that got killed, and he's really the only one that's onto something, because the dogs are probably a little bit of an inconsistency that they can't really guarantee. Like, the cannibals can't really manipulate the dogs exactly. Not entirely. They totally can, but and then the women. The women are there to be victims. Most of them die except for one. The one who survives is great. The mother's really good too. But there's a lot of death, and that scene is like the pinnacle of the film, because it's where the rape happens, it's where the child gets taken, it's where most of the people die, it's where everything that was being set up of like, we're in the middle of nowhere, we're being watched maybe, and we don't know what to do, and we don't know where we are. So like, it's just a really well executed situation, and it almost goes perfectly, but because of the main kid, what was his name, Billy or something like that, because of his willingness to assume something was wrong, their plan doesn't work out perfectly, and they get caught, and they still fulfill their thing of like stealing the baby and killing up a bunch of people and taking their food or whatever. And it's really intense. It's a really good scene. And maybe something notable about this rape is that it's almost entirely off screen, which may be what I was saying about like Wes Craven saying he regrets making The Last House on the Left so extreme, but then still sticks to the same themes. So instead of a graphic rape scene, it's a implied rape scene that may or may not have actually been a rape scene, because my first time watching it, I did not see it as a rape. I thought it was just kind of the dude covering her mouth so she wouldn't scream. The only... On a rewatch, it's definitely a rape, because the brother comes in and he insults the guy for not being attractive or something like that, and I think he jokes about how he'll always be a virgin or something. It's whatever the information was. It's definitely an attempted rape, successful rape, I guess. Like I said, you don't see anything, so who knows? She could have squirmed her way around the entire time. I don't know. But that scene is really good, and also while that's happening, the dad makes his way back to the gas station where they started, and he gets kidnapped and knocked the fuck out, which is actually the thing that sets everything off. Right. So before all that goes down, where they steal the baby and rape the girl and stuff, the thing that actually sets it off is they tie the dad to a tree and set him on fire, really far out in the distance, to a random tree, really far away, maybe like a quarter mile away, like a decent amount. And he burns. He's just sitting there burning and screaming, and it's a really intense scene. I still think the remake did the scene better. There's a lot of things I like more about the remake than I do about the original, but that doesn't make me not appreciate the original. So yeah, they set the tree on fire with Big Bob. His name is Big Bob, tied to it. And what that does is it lures most of the family away. Because they're like, oh my God, there's a man screaming in the tree. It might be my husband. And then they go and save her. And the mom gets traumatized because, the husband fucking burned alive in front of her. And then didn't entirely die. So she's watching this corpse, this crispy ass corpse, just stop breathing eventually. So she becomes catatonic or whatever the word is. And then they make their way back to the RV, which is when that scene happens. But the initial explosion is what pulled them away to get them to get into the RV and do everything. So that was like the main good scene, right? And then the other good scene is the ending, the second time that things fall into place, because at that point, everything that the family has done to try and outsmart the cannibals ultimately fails. They get their hands on a radio to try and contact the military or something, but guess what? They are the military, so they leech out a bunch of information, and then they're like, all right, cool, so you guys are fucked. We'll be right there to kill you. So, like, they only have, like, 2 bullets. They do have a gun, but it's not well used. But then the end, I don't know where they got the gas canisters, I'll be honest. They probably just had it for grilling. Maybe they were grilling earlier in the film and I just didn't notice it. But they have a bunch of propane canisters, and what they do is they put them all into the RV. They let the gas leak out a little bit. They open up the valve, and then they tie a set of matches to the door, so that when someone walks in, the matches spark and the entire RV explodes. And it's awesome. It's really fucking awesome. It's a real nice explosion. It's a great way to end the film. The only thing about the film that it's a little slow in the middle, but I don't mind that when it comes to setup, especially with The Hills Have Eyes, because there's something about the setting that is just eternally horrifying to me. I know somebody who told me that he's mortally afraid of the open ocean. I think I could arguably be have that same fear for the desert. Although the ocean's probably still objectively scarier. It's a similar feeling, though. You're just out in the middle of an unadaptable environment that you just have to figure out and live through. What the fuck am I talking about? So imagine if I had a beer and I was getting progressively drunker as this happened. I think it'd be so fun. For future episodes, there might be some that I try and do not after work so that I can do that. Maybe do it with friends and stuff too. That'd be fun. I am seeing some films in the theater soon, so maybe I can do something like that. We'll see. Yeah, The Hills Have Eyes is fantastic, though. It's not as good as I remember it being, and that's probably because I recently watched the remake, and the events of that elevated, like, extreme French mid-2000s fuckery that remake has. Is Alexander Aja that does that? So it's not that, like, I probably would have given this film a 5-star rating if I hadn't already experienced an even more insane version of it. But because, unfortunately, I have a comparison in my head, it is not the perfect 5 stars. Not that I consistently give star ratings on here, but it was just a little off-putting for me, too, because I was wholeheartedly expecting to come out of it with a perfect score, but other than being like a fanboy childhood favorite memory of mine, I can't justify it. Because it got a little slow, and, you know, it goes both ways, right? Like, I can complain about it, but I can also see it as like a slow burn, which you do, it is, and that's why it's still good. So I guess that's the double feature, right? I mean, I've unevenly spoken about them. You probably got way more porn than you did the actual Hills Have Eyes, but whatever. I think that's pretty cool. I've always wanted to spend an extended amount of time talking about porn, but it's hard to when people around you don't watch it recreationally. When I go to D&D this weekend, I might actually have a conversation with somebody because I lent them a copy of Night Dreams, which I'm very excited to see if she watched, because no one in person I've ever met has ever watched Night Dreams. Maybe I'll lend her my Fireworks Woman after that, so I can be like, hey, you want to talk about more porn? That'll be a weird relationship if that develops. That could be fun. We'll see. So, I don't know, anythingbutted@gmail.com if you want to reach out. I have an email. You can email me. I love doing a double feature. I love doing a triple feature if I have the time, but weekdays are kind of not possible, and weekends, unless I'm alone that weekend, I'm probably incapable of fulfilling a triple feature, but I try. I like a triple feature. They're just a little exhausting. I'm going to one next weekend, and I don't know what it's going to be. anythingbutted@gmail.com if you want to tell me about it or ask me about it. Questions, comments, concerns. I don't know. I'm willing to, I don't know, converse one way to you. You send me a thing, I send it back. I don't know. You know, human interaction. It's what I don't do in the backseat of this car. And it's what I should do. But instead, I'm recording this podcast, not talking to anybody specifically. I've been picking my facial hair way too much. That's pissing me off. I have too many patches I need to shave. Yeah, you can tell me about that too. You can be like, hey, I saw your facial hair. It looks like shit. And I'm like, yeah, maybe that'll motivate me to stop picking my fucking facial hair out of my face. Because It's not a perfect system what I have going. It doesn't seem to always work. I always got a bald spot somewhere. So, that's it, I suppose. I don't know if it's good or bad that I'm putting this out on the same day as my other episode with my Harmony Korine double feature, but if you for some reason are not the regular listener that I expect you to be, that previous episode is about Harmony Korine, and it's, the previous episode prior to that I think was about the Terminator. So like I have a couple of double feature episodes under the belt. I've been trying to think of episodes where I can, I started the show talking negatively about the Purge films, and I think that's such a blemish, but it's also such a me way to start, of like, yeah, movies are cool, but let me tell you about the ones that aren't first. Like that. And then I proceed to rag on Blumhouse for an hour or whatever. That was fun. So if you, I already told you the email, anythingbutted@gmail.com prior to that. Other than that, you have been listening to Taste Like Tea, a podcast about me. I am me and he is T. I need to figure out just how to stop saying me twice in that. I am me and he is T. He am I. I am me. Me am T. Hell yeah.